take a simple idea like circles and lines and then develop them into something that's a little bit more complex and perhaps a little bit more exciting. This is what we're going to do in this week's Doodle Club. Hello and a very warm welcome to Doodle Club with me, Cate Field. I release art tutorials every Monday and Friday, and I am absolutely delighted that you are here, and I hope you're going to enjoy this week's Doodle Club. Let's go. A huge welcome to Doodle Club on this lovely day. Now, last week in Doodle Club, I did a whole load of different types of doodles, breaking up the pages like this. If you haven't watched that one, you might want to go back and watch it, but you don't have to do that to begin with, unless you want to, of course. And what I said I would do at the end was I would take one of these ideas and develop it a little bit further, and that's what I'm going to do in this week's Doodle Club. So I'm going to take this idea here, these circles and dots and these sort of chains linking them together, and I'm going to be using complementary colours with my acrylic markers. So I'm going to be using Journal Say. I really like them. The markers are terrific. I use lots of different types of markers, but I really do like Journal Say. I have got a discount code in the description if you want to check them out. One of the reasons I like them is that they come in colour collections. So I'm going to be using orange and blue because they are complementary colours on the opposite side. Here it comes, on the opposite side of the colour wheel. In Friday Art last week, I did a whole thing on colour theory, just with fruit, just doodling with fruit, really. You might want to check that one out as well. Anyway, taking this idea of the circles, I'm just going to dive straight in, and I'm just going to get my pens out. So I've got them all ready to go. With these markers, you just give them a good old shake. They have acrylic paint inside. Good acrylic markers will have proper acrylic paint inside them, and you just need to kind of give them a good shake and get them going. Now, I am going to use a pencil to begin with. I don't normally do this, but I will for the minute because I think it might help when I show you what the ideas that I'm going to do. I'm going to divide the space up again on this page, but in two much bigger sections. Let's just move that across there like that. I'm going to take the blues and orange, like I said. I'm going to take different sorts. In this one, I'm going to do freehand circles. So very easy, just do it. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Doesn't matter if it ends up looking a bit like a potato or a bit like a squished squished blob. That's fine. So I'm using the same colour to do this. On this page, I'm going to be more geometric and use some stencils. But for this one, just want to try this idea. And this is what I mean when I say I'm going to develop an idea. It's when we have this idea, this very simple idea of the circles with these kind of links in black. And I just want to see where that could take me. So continuing with the circles, this time in a sort of a turquoisey blue. So I want to try out a few different colour combinations, but keeping to the complementary colours of blue and orange. There we go, just layering them over. If it looks a bit patchy, you can go over the top. You can give it a bit of get more of a shake. I use these pens a lot. Like I say, I do like them. They're not very good for detail because they have like a brush, but they're very good for kind of larger coverings, and you can get some ideas down quickly, which is what we want to do when we are playing with an idea. we don't want to spend ages and ages and ages just trying something out. We want to just see where an idea might go. So I am now going to go in with kind of a peachy orange. I do like this orange as well. I do these, just doing these circles, some big, some small, and we're going to be joining them up in a moment. And on the other page I'm also going to be doing circles that I'm going to join up, but in a slightly different way. Let's have another orange over here. Oh, that was very blobby, but that's okay, like this. But you could do this with colouring pencils, you could do it with felt tip pens, markers, different type of markers, crayons, all sorts of things. It's a very good way to try out your materials. If you've got some new pens and think, oh, I wonder what they will react like, and you can just have some fun with them. Right, so I am going to start to join these up together, and for that I'm going to use black Drawlish acrylic marker. Let me just make sure that it's all lined up. So I'm going to start by going around the circles that I've just done. I won't do all of these because you'll get the hang of it. Putting the black around, and then similar to my original doodle in the other book, I'm going to start to link these together and just kind of see what happens. And you see, just playing with this idea. These are quite wiggly lines. Let's bring that one over here. So it's almost like they're a string of baubles or lights or something like that. And this sort of thing could be great for a border, for an art journal, or it could be for part of a larger piece that you're doing where you want to have fairy lights or something like that. A bit like the beach huts we did in the tutorial the other week. That was good fun. Had some lovely comments on the beach hut one. If you didn't watch the beach hut one, you're very welcome to go back and have a look at that. So this is the idea. I'm joining all of these up with these kind of wiggly lines. I'm going to do a little bit more on that, and then I'm going to move on to the next page. So I've moved on to this page. I've just drawn a rectangle. This is just a photo frame mount. I use them quite a lot just to do shapes rather than using a ruler. It just makes it a little bit easier. What I'm going to do now is to divide this space up. I'm not going to do it evenly because I think that would be more quirky. I'm using pencils so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've just got three spaces. They're not even, that's fine. I'm just going to do some divide these up again. You could do these absolutely accurately if you want to, or you could do them with quirky shapes. They don't have to be even or anything like that. I just want to divide the space up, but with sharper lines, because that's my plan for this one. I've got my circle stencil, just like a maths stencil, and in each of these squares I'm going to do a circle. Well, they're not squares, but you know what I mean. Just going to put in, and this is just going to be a design that I've had in my head for a while that I think could work. And I'm going to try it out with you. Then you can tell me whether you think it works or not. Because of course it might not. It might be terrible. So circle in each space like this. Now I'm going to put some lines, some straight lines, again next to the circle. You could do this freehand. You absolutely could. And I'm just going to do a line, so a vertical line, one going up and one going down. So we are creating this pattern that's a little bit Art Deco, actually, looking at it like this. So one up and one down. I am keeping my lines parallel. That one's a bit squiffy, but that doesn't matter. But you could try doing lines in lots of different ways. You know, that's the whole thing about experimenting in your sketchbook. There, so that you can see on the camera. And then what I'm going to do is use the same colours, the same complementary colours of blue and orange within these spaces that I've now created. And I'm probably, for the really narrow ones, going to have to use a finer pen, but I think this could be quite interesting. I am going to start off by just colouring in the circles, and I'm going to do them blue, but different shades of blue. So let's just start off. And again, it doesn't matter if it's not absolutely accurate, that you can take your time, of course. Give the pen a good shake and then start to put your layers on. Now this is a good one with colouring pencils as well. I've done sort of similar sorts of exercises with my students when we're learning about colour theory. And I encourage them to create different patterns with the knowledge that every pattern is the correct pattern, so they're not worrying about that, and they can then just focus on colours. So that could be colours that really work well together, colours that clash, analogous colours, complementary colours, you know, all of that kind of thing. You know, we might do primary colours or secondary colours, and I'll get them to do quite a few pages in their sketchbooks. And it'd be something that they keep coming back to. And so in a class, and those of you who are school teachers or who have been school teachers will know that not every child works at the same pace. They're all different. That's not a surprise to anybody. So if one of my students has completed their work a little bit faster than somebody else, they can go back to their doodle page and do some doodles, which is nice. I thought I would just add that. So for those of you who are new and watching me for the first time, I've been an art teacher in schools and colleges for a very, very long time. Kind of recently retired from school teaching, and now I run classes and workshops, and this channel that you are watching now. And it started because a lovely friend of mine in one of my classes locally was going away for a month, and she said, "What am I going to do? You need to put your classes onto YouTube so I can watch them when I'm away." So that's what I did. So thank you, Cate, for that. It was just brilliant, because I had been thinking about it, but I hadn't actually done anything about it. Oh yes, that procrastination thing. It comes to all of us. So anyway, blue, all the blue dots are there. What I'm going to do now is to go in with the orange. So I'm just going to turn the page round a little bit, just so it's a bit easier for me to do this. I'm not going to do these all because you will see what I'm doing. It's a very good way to learn pencil control and pen control. So if you are home educating, or if you have your children or your grandchildren and you want to do some art with them, then getting them to do things like that, like this, is very good because it does give fine motor skills practice, as well as being great fun. And I've found in my years of teaching that when we allow ourselves and when we allow children to have a little bit of freedom in what they're doing, but within a kind of a structure, they really like that. If you just give them a blank piece of paper and say, oh, just do a doodle, some are fine, but most will just go into a little bit of a panic. And I think we are like that as adults as well, aren't we? Okay, let me just do, I'm just thinking about what colours I'm using. The other thing that I will get them to do is to put on the side what colours they're using. And if there's a code, like these have got codes like RY05, and I can put that, and so they will have these as a reference if they want to use the same colour again. And I would strongly recommend that. It's very handy. Right, I'm going to do a few more of these and then we're going to come back in a moment and I'll show you what I've done. So you can see that I filled in all of these spaces. Now what I'm doing now is I'm taking this kind of idea of joining up the circles, but I'm using those lines that I had before. I'm just using acrylic marker again. And you could do this with your ruler and with your stencils. I'm just doing it freehand. So I had this idea and I thought it might work. And I quite like it. So it doesn't, it doesn't matter if it goes wonky. Well, it doesn't matter to me if it goes wonky, because I am, like I say, all the time, I am just playing with an idea. When I'm working on my final canvases, I take a lot more time. But the idea is that I don't spend a lot of time on the kind of precision work of my doodles, because I don't have a lot of time, so I've got to use my time wisely. And I think there's a lot of us that are a bit like that. So yeah, on my canvases I will take a lot of time. And some of the canvases are very big, so they do take months. Anyway, I'm quite liking this idea. I like the way these lines are going. I like the connection with this. I'm going to play around with this for a little bit longer. I think I want to do some sort of contours. I did think about breaking up these squares, but I don't think I'm going to do that, not with black anyway. So when I talk about contours, I kind of go around what is already there, and we're just like mimicking it, and it can create some very, very interesting patterns, especially when you've got real kind of contrasts with your colours. You could do this with a completely different colour. It doesn't have to be with black. You could do it with green or purple or something like that. I'm quite liking this. This is making me quite interesting. Yeah, I'm quite interested. Yes, let's do another one. I can go off the page, around like that. I'm going to do a tiny little bit more on this just before we end, and I'll show you what I've done right at the end. Let's just do a little circle in there. Right, I will play with this while I drink some coffee, and I will come back to you in just a moment. So I started to put a few more lines, and then I thought I would add some more dots and circles just to the overall pattern. I'm using another acrylic marker, but with a more fine nib. Still in the blues and oranges. Just sort of mimicking these, just seeing what this might look like. And then I think I'm going to add some white. So just a little bits of white and see how that might work. Still quite messy, but you know, that's okay. Remember that everything has to go through a messy stage, and it is at the messy stage that very many people will just give up. I see it all the time. Don't give up when you get to the messy stage. Right, where's the white? A Drawlish white acrylic marker. I use these a lot. I do like them, and I think this one is running out. I was just wondering what to do then, because I was just thinking about what I was saying to you. I was going to do some circles in this space. So I'm just taking this idea. Quite a few people have messaged me and said, what do I mean about developing an idea? Well, it's this kind of thing. You take your starting point. So let's just go back and show you how this started. This started with this idea here, just circles joined together. And I worked on these, and then that turned into that. This is developing an idea. And it is something that my students can struggle with, especially when they have a project that's supposed to be lasting sort of 3 months. And the first week they kind of tell me they know exactly what they're going to do for their final piece. And I think, yeah, you haven't quite grasped this yet. Not quite. There's several stages that we have to go through. And it might well be that your initial idea is what you end up doing. But it's so important to go through all of these stages so that your idea can be refined. Even when it's just something really good fun like this, and not taken seriously in that kind of thing. I'm just going to do some dots in this one as well, and then I think I will stop. Let's just do that. But think about what other colours you could use. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what complementary colours you really like together. I mean, personally, I do like the I like blue and orange, but I really like the pink and the green, which is what I was doing in Friday Art when I was doing these ones. If you haven't checked this one out, you might like to watch it next. But I think I'm just going to leave this as it is. It's still a work in progress. I have got some ideas of what I might like to do, especially as a border. I'm wondering whether this could actually make a really interesting creative border. Let me know what you think. Right, let's put that to bed. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this week's Doodle Club, that you've got lots and lots of ideas. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, that would be absolutely wonderful. And if you want to see some more, look at this one up here, because I think you're going to like it. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.